G'day viewers, DanMill23. Okay, this is the second part to the video where I'll address what Geerup said in the response that he made. I'd like to direct it to Geerup specifically and Sableckicken. Okay, so really I'm talking about the doctrine of hell. That's eternal agonizing torture for infinite agonizing torture for a finite crime. The fact that I didn't ask to be born, and you get dropped into this world, and really your destiny is to be tortured forever, unless you accept the escape clause. Now, the whole point is that we're trying to make is that how can God be good and have set up a system like that? You can't imagine Santa Claus setting up a system like that. Withholding presents is the worst that it gets. It's more along the lines of Darth Vader. To justify that, and I mean Christians identify this problem. Atheists bring this problem to them, and Christians can see it, and they don't like it. Really, it's a bit of a conundrum, isn't it? And we get the excuse that it's all our fault. That's how God is absolved of any blame. Now remember, God set up the world. He created the game. That's the idea, right? He's infinitely powerful and can do anything at the expense of no energy. So he could have set up the world any way he chose, but he chose it this way, which involves agonizing torture. It involves infinite punishment for a finite crime. Now, that is the message that I'm really sending here, but you didn't identify that message, Geerup, and you were addressing my superficial level. The superficial level of my video. I don't blame you for that. I gave a very dry performance, okay, and I gave very few hints that I was, that there was multiple messages here. Now, what this really means is that you were honest. You are honest, and more than that, what it means is that you had a moment of freedom where you were free to not only think, but free to express your moral beliefs. Matt Dillahunty from the Atheist Experience puts forth the idea that we are more moral than God, because we reject this unjust doctrine of hell. And you are too, Geerup. You exposed that. You showed us that in a moment of freedom. I'd just like to play you doing that for you now. Okay, so this is you. I'm just about to put forward my idea that the Bibles are to blame for getting burnt. The unjustifiable, stupid assertion that it's somehow the Bible's fault. Even though the atheists are the ones with the matches. The atheists are the ones that were setting up the game and playing, making the rules. Somehow it's the Bible's fault. So I'm just about to express that, and listen to yourself, Geerup. Any Bible that gets burned has brought it on itself.
Okay, now, this is where you just crossed the line, Dan. Shame on you. I have seen videos that have really disturbed me. People who have hurt other people. And one particular video comes to mind. A little girl was wearing lipstick, and this man, Muslim, saw that she was wearing lipstick and told her to take it off. But this little girl defied him. The older man went to his house, got some gasoline, went back out, dumped it on her, and set her on fire. according to your video here and your twisted logic, you would blame her physical burning on her. On her. You would actually blame her for being burnt. I don't condone the burning of Bibles, nor do I condone the burning of human beings. This is disturbing, Dan. This is more than playing a little game here. You need to retract these words. You need to set yourself free from this twisted logic. Real people. Book burning is like an entry drug to the hard stuff. Shame on you, Dan.
There you have it. Twisted logic. Shame. That's a moment of freedom, Geerup. You've hit the nail right on the head. You know, you talked about you sort of condescendingly talked about the Socratean method. This has turned out to be a perfect example of the Socratean method of arguing. You know, it's letting the person you're arguing with do all the hard work. Let them refute themselves. Because ultimately you're not going to believe me, are you? You're not going to believe me. So that's why, I mean, in this case, we've exposed a truth. In a moment of freedom, we've exposed a truth. And there is one person who's not me that you can listen to, Geerup. One person who you could even trust, especially in this moment of free truth. And that's you, Geerup. Trust yourself. Trust your own moral instincts. When just for a second you are free from the fog, from those other concerns. You identified that was unjust. The Jews, were they responsible for the Holocaust? Is Adolf Hitler blameless? Adolf Hitler warned the Jews. He warned them and warned them and warned them. He's the leader. He makes the rules. Was it the Jews' fault that they didn't heed that warning? That they all got gassed? The argument that you made about the little girl, the parallels are amazing. Considering that you didn't identify the meaning that I was... The parallels are amazing. And that's why I think you almost got it and it slipped through your fingers. Somebody said that in the comments and I think they're right. The parallels, the fire, the disobedience, the father figure. Your analogy is perfect. A perfect analogy. And in that case, you can clearly identify the injustice. The last line that I said in my first video was, "Isn't that pathetic?" And I chose that line specifically to end the video because "isn't that pathetic" applied to both of those layers that I was making. The superficial layer, okay, pathetic. But the underlying layer, the excuse making for God, to try and make him seem holy even though you've got the doctrine of... You can see that child, imagine that child with messy lipstick, burning. And let me tell you, and let me try and argue that the father was good. Okay. I'd like to thank everybody who watched and commented on this little video series. I appreciate that a lot. And Geerup, if you have a video response, feel so inclined, I'd be really interested to see that. For me, this has been a bit of a turning point. I mean, I haven't really drawn any conclusions from the year that I've been on YouTube, but this is like a save point. You know, I think there's multiple little truths sort of cracking through the surface here, multiple little nuggets of truth. and I'm going to be thinking about those in the future. Thanks, guys.